Howdy y'all, Big Country here, and today I'm going to be going over the 5 steps to get your first SDR or BDR type job at a tech company. All right, step number one. Step number one, guys, is to get a bachelor's degree if you can. So unfortunately, y'all, bachelor's degree is still a big filter for hiring for entry-level candidates, and it's one that I'm not too stoked about because I didn't grow up with money to go to school right off the bat. And for a lot of folks, what going to school means is putting yourself in financial dire straits to the point where you might have to look for a subpar SDR, BDR job just to come off like you can pay the bills. But if you can, it will help out and it could serve you well. If you don't have one, see step 2. All right, step number 2. Step number 2 is my favorite. Step number 2 is get some experience. So when it comes to experience, the best kind of experience that you can get is going to be just other types of sales experience. So when I say sales experience, there's 2 things that are most preferable. 1, having B2B sales experience, and 2, having cold calling experience. SDR, BDR type jobs normally involve a lot of cold calling. So if you can get your feet wet with that right out of the gate, hiring managers are gonna like you better, especially on paper. And on top of that, you're already gonna have your feet wet. So realistically, if you get good at cold calling from some other type of a situation, you can come in and blaze it, guys. So if not, the other types of experience that hiring managers and myself really like to see are folks that come from a rejection heavy or just a competitive environment. So maybe go play a sport for a little bit. You could be a fundraiser. That's another good thing. You're doing lots of cold calls and extracting and working with money. Maybe you could be a debt collector. Jobs like those are going to give you a couple skill sets to help you thrive in a sales environment, and the hiring managers are going to see that from the get-go. And I also have another video where I talk about some of the other jobs that can help you get relevant sales experience before you actually take the first step into a tech sales career. All right, step number 3. Step number 3 is a big one, y'all. It's fix your resume. I see horrible resumes all the time, and the main thing that I see every single day is people that don't address gaps. But the overarching theme here is that people do not paint a clear picture of what they want to do and what their story has been so far. So when it comes, especially if you're just applying to a company, what hiring managers want to see is this person wants to work here and they also want to be an SDR, BDR, what have you. Reason for that is it's a super high turnover job. So lots of kids with marketing degrees come right out of college, they can't do anything else, and they take an SDR, BDR type job because they get sold on it, and they're like, oh, well, it's kind of marketing, what have you. And then they end up not hitting quota, and then they quit 3 months afterward to go be a social media coordinator somewhere. So if you can say right up front, yo, I've got a little bit of experience and I want to be an SDR, BDR, I know what it's going to entail and I have what it takes, that's going to set you up for success, not just on paper, but when you actually are in front of a hiring manager and they're combing through your resume, going through your story. So step number 3, fix your resume. Step number 4. Step number 4 is do your research. And that step can be almost done entirely by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, banging the notification bell, and watching all of my videos. Just kidding, guys. But if you want to get your experience, you want to get your feet wet with sales, but also SDR, BDR type stuff in general, there's great channels out there. For me, I was watching lots of Dan Locke videos, also Grant Cardone for SDR, for tech sales specific. You got your Patrick Dang, you got your Trent Dressel. There's tons of resources out there. Do some reading. Don't pay any money. Let's stay away from the boot camps as for now. All right, step number 5, wrapping it up here, guys. Step number 5 is apply to Salesforce. Salesforce is the #1 employer of SDRs or BDRs out there. It's got sales in the name. It's a huge company. It must be absolutely the best place to be an SDR or BDR. All right, step number 6. Step number 6 is don't hear back from Salesforce. So lots of people apply there all the time, and you're probably actually better off going somewhere else. Not to rag on Salesforce too much because it is a great company. The culture is really really great there, but you might either see yourself as an SDR or BDR there for multiple years, which nobody wants. And also, if you ever want to work for a startup, which I think a lot of people do, and make a lot of money in equity and that kind of thing, those startups are going to see Salesforce and then they're going to be like, oh no, this person has name brand recognition. He has no, or she has no experience selling something that nobody's heard of before. So that's not actually a real step, guys. So it's time for the real number 5. All right, to wrap it up, y'all. Reason number 5, step number 5 is to find a sales recruiter, preferably one that works on an agency where they represent multiple different tech companies. Reason for this is, you know, when you're just talking to regular recruiters, corporate recruiters who come from one company, of course, they're going to try to steer you towards that one company. But if you find somebody like Big Country or some other type of sales recruiter, they might represent several different companies, especially several different tech companies, and they're going to be able to learn about you as a person. They're going to be able to help you with your resume. They're going to help you put your experience in the correct light. They're going to guide you through the interview process, and it's just going to save you so much more time in the process of finding your first SDR gig. So step number 5, working with a sales recruiter. All right, so that wraps it up for today, guys. That's been the 5 steps to landing your first SDR, BDR type job at a tech company. So if you haven't already, be sure to like this video, bang the subscribe, do the notification bell, and I will see you next time.